Joining me now is Michael the Mullet Cyr, who will be in action next on January the 27th at Fierce FC 29 when he takes on Yazan Hajeh for the bantamweight title. Michael, how are you?
I'm good. Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, this is a big fight. You're fighting for the title. What would that mean to bring the Fierce FC title back home?
Well, you know, I've I've never really fought. I've never fought for a belt, not even amateur, nothing. Just you know, just wanted to win fights and get to the top as fast as I can. I started pretty late, age wise. I think I started jiu-jitsu at like 23 or 24. So just been hustling ever since and didn't really have time to think about it. But uh, yeah, pretty excited for a belt. That would be a big honor. I'd love to put that up in the gym.
And how old are you now?
I'm 28.
Okay, so you're still a young guy. You got all kinds of time.
Yeah, I know, but I just always have in my head Dana White says he doesn't hire 30-year-olds, so I'm gonna try to beat that. We'll see.
All right. Well, I've seen it happen before, so you
Yeah,
never know. If you go in there and win, I think at the end of the day, that's all that matters. This is my first time interviewing you, so I want to get to know a little bit more about you. Tell me, I guess your background in combat sports and how you got to this point. No point now as a 5-1 professional.
sure. Yeah, I watched a lot of MMA or a little bit growing up, and then I watched some more after I kind of got out of other sports, stopped playing baseball. Doing I ran cross country in high school and stuff. Never followed up with that, and so I've always done a lot of sports, and jujitsu was just the next thing. I actually just wanted to do MMA, and I went in. I happened to go into the 6 a.m. jiu-jitsu class and got my ass kicked pretty bad by one of my teammates, Chris. And from then on, I realized, oh shoot, I should probably do jiu-jitsu for a little while and not to not get subbed 5, 6, 7 times. And then that's really what I did for like a year and a half, and then I started MMA after that. So really started MMA right when Pablo Alfonso bought the gym, and so he's been Jesse Hardingbrook was my jiu-jitsu coach to begin with, and then Pablo kind of moved into Jesse's still my jiu-jitsu coach as well, but Pablo's my head coach, and yeah, started right at the same time that he started with the gym, moving up here, and basically everything I've got is from him.
And so you're still in Spokane, Washington, correct?
Yeah, I live in the valley out here, but yeah, I've lived in Spokane basically my whole life.
All right. And as far as training partners go, is there anyone like in particular that you really work with more now as a pro? I mean, you got a great record, 5-1. So I have to imagine the goals. We talked a little bit before we went live. You said, Dana White doesn't hire guys north of 30. So that's your goal, right? You want to get to the UFC. So tell me a little bit about the guys you have around you as far as specific training partners now.
Yeah, in my beginnings at Warrior Camp, it was a lot of Daniel Swain was around, and Josh Reddinghouse. He's still around. He's still one of my number one training partners. A couple of the guys, Eric and Jose Mendez and Derry Alderman, and Izzy Israel is one of my main training partners now. He's kind of in and out of town, so it's tough. But Israel Gonzalez, he's I think 4-1 as a pro as well. We have a lot of guys that are just right there at that same level. But yeah, it's good, and we're all 125, 135, 145, all good grapplers and all good strikers too. So those are the most of my training partners. I got a couple of amateur training partners that are really good, like Cody and Jared. They're right up there with all the pros. They should be probably going pro pretty soon. But I mean, we got a whole group of guys, but it just depends on who's got fights and all of that. But having enough guys like that even when you're not training for a fight, there's still a ton of, or when you're training for a fight and not everybody else is, everybody's still in the gym and you got a lot of guys to train with. It's great.
What's that cut like for you to get to 135? How big do you get?
Over the summer, I got a little big. I was like 165, but I usually walk around at 155 or so, and it's not bad. It's not. I can fluctuate in weight quite a bit, and once I get to working every day rather than every other day or whatnot, like I would do, just kind of standard, like every single day like that, I can't keep the weight on. So it's actually pretty easy to get down to where I need to start a water cut. It's not terrible.
Okay. And as far as when you get to that last week of the whole training process before a fight and it's weight cutting week, what are you like 10, 12 pounds out, or is that pretty much where you're at?
Yeah, my last one, I actually um, did cut the weight that way, sort of to where I was actually probably 147, 146 before I started cutting water, which was like the easiest I've ever done. I fought at 125 for my first pro fight. It was a weird catch weight for some reason. I think they messed up on the contract, but we signed it, so it was like 128. So that was like the hardest cut I've ever done, and I was starting at 155 for that. It's kind of a weird circumstance where we took it on 2 weeks notice and just like, let's do it, whatever. And my weight wasn't right where it should have been. So that was definitely hard. And ever since that one, everything else seems a lot easier. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, anywhere 10 to 15, it's not bad.
Okay, that's pretty standard. As far as paying the bills go, I have to imagine you have a job outside of training MMA right now. What is that like? What do you do, and how do you balance your work and training?
Yeah, I work the regular job. It's kind of like semi labor, but it's not hard labor. It's kind of HVAC work, but just kind of the shit work for that. So a lot of sheet metal, and then getting up on ladders and crawl spaces and attics and all that good stuff. So, but the balance, I mean, it's always been that way for me. I mean, I always find something to do. If I'm not working, I'm out fishing and hunting and just trying to have fun. So I just spend that time in the gym, just every day, go to work sometimes. So I started with the 6 a.m. class the first time I ever went into the gym. And so I've always kind of gone into the 6 a.m. Class a lot. And then come into the night class later on to really get more hours in without, around my schedule. So the middle of the day, there's not much going on. If you go to a gym, the middle of the day, there's really not much going on anyway. So it's always the morning and night, and makes it pretty easy to work around. But I've got a wife and 3 kids, and so it takes a toll on her and them. But any chance I get, and any time that I have on the weekends and in between, my job is pretty forgiving time wise at times. And other times in the summertime it gets real busy, but so all the time that I have, we go do fun stuff, and yeah, we manage it.
I love it, man. And your nickname's the mullet. And clearly, look
Oh
at
yeah.
that! Look at that lettuce. You got a great head of hair there. So, what would happen if you ever cut the hair? Would you change the nickname? Have you even thought about that?
I didn't come up with a nickname, and it just appeared on my Tapology one day. So I never really asked, but I'm pretty sure it's my coach. But yeah, I don't really. I lost the fight that I lost. Right after that, I was working, and I was on a ladder, and the thing, wasn't doing anything wrong or anything, but it was kind of a rainy day, and it slid out from under me, and I fell down. And the way I fell, my arm was kind of extended, and the ladder basically chopped my arm off. My left arm, broke it in half. And so after that, I was like, screw it, I cut it. So, but then I grew it back because whatever. I don't really care. But so I fought one fight without a mullet, and I won that one too. So I don't think it matters too much, but some people say there's some power in it. Who knows?
All right. Well, what does the wife think? Does the wife like the hair?
Yeah, I think so. She the first time I did it, I just did it because I played baseball for a lot of years, and I never did a mullet in baseball, and I thought that was cool. So I did it for my first fight, and it actually, it looked okay. So she was fine with it after that. She was a little skeptical to begin with, but that's good.
Boy, wouldn't it be nice if combat sports athletes could make that Shohei Ohtani money?
uh, yeah, that'd be
That
great.
that would be something else. I feel like you guys should be making more money than you do, but story for another day. Let's talk about this upcoming event. Again, you're fighting for the bantamweight title, Fierce FC 29. It's at the Mountain America Arena in Idaho. How far is that away from where you live in Washington?
Well, my wife's family lives down there, so we've done the drive quite a few times. It's just a coincidence that I'm fighting there, so it's gonna be great. I got a lot of people that I know down there. It's kind of like a little second home to me. Go down there a couple times a year and visit my wife's family lives there. So the drive's roughly about 8 hours now. Most of it's through Montana, and you go about 80 miles an hour, or the speed limit is anyway. So you can go a little faster, but so not too bad. But if it's bad weather, it'll be a long one.
Mm. So I imagine with you having already family there, You probably have a lot of support come fight night. Would you have a lot of people in attendance watching you compete?
Yeah, it should be good. There's going to be, I don't know a ton of people down there, but we have a core group of people, and I know that they know a lot of other people, and a lot of friends and family of family. So um, we're going to have a good group going down there.
That's good. And your opponent, Yazan, he's 7-2. I notice a lot of his wins are by decision. So he's a grinder. He's someone that, can go the distance. Is this the toughest fight you've had yet? Or have you fought someone that you think maybe is better than he is?
No, I think this is going to be the toughest fight. I mean, I fought a couple of good guys for sure, but he's at if I remember right, like 10th Planet in Vegas there, and they got a good group of guys. I know that Andy is one of the coaches there, and he's a really good competitor. And I've gone against a few 10th Planet guys in my time in jiu-jitsu and whatnot. But so it should be fun. I like his grappling style; looks pretty good, and he's got not too bad striking either. It's going to be interesting, but I think he'd probably be the toughest opponent. I'm kind of hoping that that's the case anyway, because I always want to build up and keep getting the better competition as I go, because you can only get so as ready as you can for the UFC, and that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, no doubt. And you're a jiu-jitsu guy, like we've already talked about. You've got 4 submission victories. Do you get your 5th here? What do you think ultimately happens in this fight?
I always just take what comes. That was right before my first fight. I had a teammate who was the main event. He was talking to me before. He's like, "What are you thinking about?" Whatever, and he gave me some good advice, and that's what it was. He just said, "Don't get greedy about anything. Don't think about one specific thing. Don't try to, like, you game plan generally and whatnot, but for a specific submission or whatever, or try to force something, just take what comes." And I mean, if I could, whether it's a KO, TKO, or submission, that's what I'm going for.
Where do you feel like he's most dangerous? Is there like a certain area? I mean, you've talked about he's kind of a well-rounded fighter. You like his grappling style. You think he's a good striker. Is there one area where you just got to be really careful in?
Well, he's southpaw, so that can have some trickiness to it, but I've been working on a lot of that in my striking. So just being a southpaw is one, and I think the main thing is that he is, like you said, he's a grinder, and if he goes the distance a lot, didn't look too impressive on the cardio, but you never know. In a 5-round fight, things can change pretty quick. But so either just watching out for the cardio, watching out for he pressures people against cage and whatnot. So just not getting stuck in a boring grappling match or a boring cage wrestling match, whatever. Those types of things, you can lose decisions easy, and I don't want to do that. So
I did 5 rounds of pad work this morning, and I felt like I was dead by the end of it. What's your cardio like for a 5-round fight? How are you feeling right now?
Oh, good. I've got it's probably backwards on the camera, but DL Training Systems. That's my strength conditioning coach, Dylan Lemry, and he's been working with me for it's been all summer now, ever since right after my last fight. That I've been working with him. He's had some training programs, and I was getting ready for 2 fights. On my Tapology, it shows 2 canceled fights like right in a row, but neither one of those was me. It was just other guys pulling out or being sick or whatever. So it sucks, but I've been ready for months now. So all I got to do is keep it consistent as I am right now, and then ramp up right about the beginning of January and hit it extra hard. But yeah, my cardio is always good.
Nice, on point. And for someone like myself that isn't local, if I wanted to watch this, how can I watch this? Is there a pay-per-view stream, or are they airing it on their YouTube, or?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I still was supposed to find that out for my family, but I know they do have a stream, or at least that's what I was told. So I'm gonna find out where that is. But I would just check out their website. Well, that's probably what I should have done. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll have to check it out myself because I'm intrigued to
Yeah.
see this title fight. Again, Fierce FC 29. It goes down January the 27th. Michael will battle Yazan for the bantamweight title. Great time interviewing you here for the first time, Michael. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. If there's anything you want to plug, anyone you want to thank, floor is yours.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, my coaches, especially Jesse Hardenbrook, my jiu-jitsu coach, started with him from the beginning, and then of course Pablo Alfonso, my head coach, who, as far as MMA is concerned, he's taught me everything there, and the rest of my teammates. It is, it's tough to be a really good fighter without having really good competition and training partners. And man, we got a big group of guys that show up every day and work hard, and it's really fun. So all my training partners and my coach, and then of course my wife and my kids, they make it all happen.